October 9, 2010, more than 200 people gathered to plant fruit trees and plants, apples, pears, cherries, persimmons, flowers, and berries of all kinds. We set up posts and wrapped a fence around an acre of land, beginning the transformation of a field of grass into a field of fruit. 10 months earlier, Amy Countryman wrote her senior thesis that proposed the development of a community orchard, where people in Bloomington could come together to learn to grow and care for fruit trees and plants, build community, and enjoy the fruits of their labor. A place that would serve as an education center for local, sustainable, organic agriculture, as an inspiration for other communities, and as a beautiful park unlike any other in the city.
In December of 2009, I turned in my undergraduate thesis for my Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Science at SPIA, and in that thesis I proposed a community orchard for Bloomington because I had researched some data that other people had collected that showed how much of the public forest in Bloomington was comprised of edible fruits, and found out that there was less than 2% of our 16,000 public trees, actually had edible fruit growing on them. And I thought it would be great to have public trees that people could use to eat from, but also to grow community by working together to grow them organically. So I proposed this concept to the city and thought that they wouldn't do anything about it. And then a month later, the urban forester called me up and said, "We want to go for it. We want to, here's $2,000 and an acre, and go see what you guys can do." And I was like, "What do you mean, you guys?" Like, there were no you guys,
So what did you do? Here somebody hands you money and land, and what was the next step that you took?
Well, I called a public meeting, and we had a big public meeting that a lot of people came to, and then people sort of grabbed onto the idea and started figuring out how to create it by forming different teams, and out of those teams, started the beginning of the orchard. People started figuring out what cultivars to plant and designing the orchard and applying for grants, and it all coalesced into where we are.
We asked some volunteers why they got involved with the Bloomington Community Orchard and what they enjoy about working there. Here's what they had to say.
Well, it started out for me just as a chance to be involved in gardening and farming kind of thing. I used to do that a lot and I missed it. So I got involved with planning, and then it just became a community, and every time I come here I feel really welcome, and I like that a lot.
I heard about it through Abby and also through the grant that they were advertising for, and I voted for it a bunch of times, and I had never been out here until this last planting day. And so to me, it's just nice to be in a community with like-minded people that are really interested in healthy food.
I think it's nice that it's in such a central location, first of all, because that makes it more likely that people will come here and hang out as opposed to having to drive an hour to get someplace. And it's really nice that there are just so many varieties of fruit growing, and that people come together and work on all the tasks that are involved, and are, we're all looking forward to the day when these trees will be big and bearing fruit.
I would say that this orchard is inspiring beyond words, and come out to a work day and feel what it's like to be around all the wonderful folks and what's being created out here.
There's many volunteer organizations in Bloomington, but this is one that does something that I think is fun. I mean, I really enjoy gardening and being around trees and plants, and so it's also a place where I can meet other people who enjoy the same thing, and do something that I enjoy as a volunteer.
I think what's most fun about it for me is the sharing, that everybody has a little piece of knowledge, and by working together we're bringing all those here as a focus to share it.
It's like an aesthetically pleasing environment. It's fun to be in this pretty thing where things are growing. Watching things grow is as cool as anything in the world could be to me. I can't think of much better than that.
Some of us have been deeply invested in learning of orchard skills, particularly organic orchard skills along the way. But then there's the joy of passing them along so that when a high school student shows up for our first tree trimming. You know, not only are we learning, but we're also learning to pass that on. And just to experience the joy that someone else feels in making that first cut, that first pruning cut, and knowing then that she can go off and take that skill into the world and know that she can have an apple tree or a peach tree or whatever and knows how to take care of it in the future. That for me is really exciting.
Well, this is a growing concern, and I think it's fun to be in on the ground floor of something. When you really get to see something from its beginning to its end, it is really a compelling story that becomes part of your own life experience. And so I would encourage people to become involved with the orchard and to watch these trees mature. And when they begin producing fruit in a few years, it will have a lot of meaning to those who were here to plant those first trees, or to those who have cared for them during their early years.
Come on out. It's great. This is a great time. The people here are really nice, and you get to use tools like this, which seem scary but are very fun to use.
The Bloomington Community Orchard invites you to grow with us. Contact us about volunteer opportunities today.